Okay, so today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the topic of objectiveness and subjectiveness. In order to find facts and to understand that you are reading the truth in any post, any headline, any article, anything that you Google, you need to understand these concepts. Now, you might have a good idea about them, but today we're actually going to put it into practice. We're going to look at a couple different headlines and questions, and we're going to discern for ourselves whether they're objective or subjective and learn how to spot different subjective languages based off of keywords and different interactions of the question itself. So here I've got a couple examples. Let's go ahead and get into number one. So here it says, we Americans need to elect a president who is mature and who is able to make wise decisions. Pause your video here and I want to know, what do you think? Is this objective or is this subjective? And if you want, go ahead and leave me in the comment below before we move on. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the answer for this. This is actually subjective language because the word need, mature, wise, all express a writer's point of view. These are evaluations that cannot be proven. Therefore, this entire headline here is subjective. Now let's move on to number two. To be elected president of the United States, a candidate must be at least 35 years of age. What do you think this is? Well, I'll go ahead and pause the video. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the answer. So this one is objective because the second sentence is a statement of fact that can be proven. We can look this up to verify that somebody must be at least 35 years of age to run as president of the United States. Now let's go ahead and move on to our third question. The biggest mistake a newcomer to the workforce makes is to choose a career and stick to it regardless of changing circumstances. What do you think, subjective or objective? Now remember, objective is based in fact, meaning that it can be proven, where subjectiveness is evaluations of people's points of view or basically opinions. So go ahead and pause the video and think about it for a minute. All right, so if you're ready for the answer, here we go. This is subjective. This phrase enters with the word big mistake. This is cannot be proven by saying that a single career is the biggest mistake a new worker can make. This is actually the point of view of whoever is writing this by interjecting this word. And we need to look for words like this to see how they set off different headlines and articles to understand if we're reading something that's meant to persuade us into a certain way of thinking, or if we're actually reading something that's going to be based in fact and truth. Now let's go ahead and let's move on to number 4. So this one says, surveys conducted by research at the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that workers under the age of 24 are more likely to switch jobs than older workers. Well, it does relate to the sentence above, but what do you think, subjective or objective? Well, if you've guessed objective, you'd be correctly right, because it uses objective language to state information that was gathered from valid research by the Bureau of Labor Statistics that can be proven as fact. Now, it's important to understand and discern the differences of how to find different keywords and look at headlines for the reason that we want to find information that can be proven as fact. If you don't understand what a fact is, go look up the dictionary on Google or on your mobile device and look up the definition of fact and see what it actually says. Because in order to find facts, there has to be proof to back up that it does exist. So it is very, very important and very essential that you understand these concepts. So let's go ahead and go online. Let's take this to the next step and let's go see if we could find some random headlines, if we can determine whether we're looking at objective or subjective headlines. All right, so we're going to go through a couple different news sites, Google News, CNN, NBC, and Apple News, to kind of give you an overview of some daily headlines, and we're going to break down to see if they're objective or subjective. Now remember, objective means that it can be proven with fact, therefore it is most likely true in the sense that it has facts involved in it, therefore it's more factual. Now we do have articles that do have a mix of fact-based objectiveness and subjectiveness, which we can weigh out and call even, but we got to keep an eye out for the subjectiveness because these are plays of words, opinions, and assessments by other people to get us or persuade us into a specific way of thinking or trying to get us to think like they are in context of the subject matter. So let's go over here to Google News and let's check out a couple of these headlines. First one here says, Mitch McConnell says a coronavirus stimulus package is unlikely in the next 3 years. Objective or subjective? Well, this would be objective because this is something that he said. This is a statement, so therefore it could be proven if this is what he actually said was true. Let's move down here. Here's the likelihood of getting $1,200 stimulus check in the next 26 days. Now, we got this noun that's being used like a verb, likelihood of getting a $1,200 stimulus check. And basically, here's the likelihood statement makes this whole headline subjective. Because it's an opinion. Here's the likelihood of getting $1,200 for a stimulus check in the next 26 days. There's no basis in fact because of this first statement and this keyword likelihood. Now let's go ahead and go over to CNN and check out what they got. So here we've got a couple different headlines. This one right here, new fears over Trump's health. Can you guess what this one is? If you guess subjective, you'd be 100% correct because the word fears simulates the opinion of the writer. New fears. This is the take of the writer. This is the opinion, the assessment of the writer over Trump's health. So therefore, there's probably nothing in fact that this can be proven by. This is not an objective statement for a headline. Now let's go down here. A day of dizzying events had some of the president's critics suggesting his health may be influenced by political chaos. Or political choices, I'm sorry. Now, this is a headline that is using a couple different techniques in it that I could point out, and we'll go over in other videos. But if we look at the day of dizzying events, first of all, this is an action word that is being used to try to persuade you into understanding that there is a problem going on. So therefore, this is a persuasive writing technique. And then it says, had some of the president's critics suggesting his health may be influencing political choices. So this whole subject line is about critics saying that his health may be influencing political choices. But who are these critics? Therefore, we don't know who these critics are. There's no fact to base this in reality. Therefore, it is a subjective statement. And these are really important to look at and understand and dissect these headlines that we see. Now, we can see over here, if we scroll down, that we usually have these different articles here, and some of them they'll say opinion on, and they usually have opinion pieces, and then you'll have your basic analysis, which analysis are going to be more based in facts, supposedly, where opinions are basic opinions like we're talking about. They're subjective. But let's look at some of the analysis. So this one says McConnell admitted what we all know about Trump. So this analysis, which is supposed to be based in fact and be objective, is actually subjective because it said McConnell admitted what we all know about Trump. It doesn't say what McConnell admitted, so there's no fact. It just says what we all know about Trump, which is 100% subjective. Therefore, this is subjective writing as an analysis. And it's really key to watch out for these things. And down here, opinion. Trump's one hope to win Wisconsin. This is an opinion written by the writer in his perspective, and in his own voice of why, this headline, Trump's one hope to win Wisconsin, and what that's about. So let's go to NBC News and see what they got going on there. Now, this headline says, I'm not welcome here. How the 2020 campaign is exposing division in Texas suburbs. All right, well, there's a persuasive writing technique of loading this sentence up right here. And we'll go over these persuasive techniques and topics in other videos, but I'm not welcome here. This is a subjective statement, and then it goes on to the objectiveness of how 2020 campaign is exposing divisions in Texas suburbs. So this would actually be objective if there was proof to validate claims of how this campaign is exposing specific types of division in this specific state. Now, let's look down here. Top stories. Migrants under 12 shouldn't be separated from parents. Subjective or objective? Well, this is subjective because this is a statement that somebody is making. This is their opinion that migrants under 12 shouldn't be separated from parents. So therefore, it is subjective. Now you see that they have news articles here, and then they have opinion pieces here, which opinions, every time you see opinion, it's going to be subjective. And all it takes is going through these articles and reading these headlines and seeing if there's any keywords that stand out to make it an opinion or make it somebody else's point of view and not based in fact. So let's go to Apple News, which we can't really go here because I don't have a subscription to it, but you can go here, and I just want to show you Apple News because you can get a hold of all these news stations from Apple News in one place, and therefore you can go here and test out your new profound skills of finding objective and subjective headlines in all the major news aggregates. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned some valuable lessons on discerning the differences of keywords and objectiveness and subjectiveness, and hopefully taking you one step closer to reaching and finding the truth in everyday content that you consume and read and interact with. So if you got any value out of this video, then please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to give me a like, especially if you got any value out of this video. I got more videos on the way. I want to help people find the truth. I feel it's very, very important and can probably unite us more than anything if we can have the tools and understanding of how to debunk and find facts and find the valid truth out of all this content we see on social media and throughout our entire culture. I feel it could bring us together a lot more and probably cut down a lot of the tension that we have, and that's my main goal. So God bless, and thank you for watching this video. And like I said, don't forget to give me a like, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you have any ideas for videos that you want to see or know about, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know an idea that you want to see in video, something you want to learn, and I will be more than happy to make it for you. Thank you.